All right, it's rolling.
I must admit she makes me mad. She's a low-down, dirty, caffeinated woman. You know,
Hello and welcome to the return of the NatterCast. After some hiatus, we had a couple of casts over the last several months, but I've been working pretty hard on some prototypes for our project at work, which has settled up, and I now want to get back into podcasting. This is the NatterCast. I'm Jason Schenkel of Schenkel Studios, and I'm here as always with Sion.
Yes.
And not as always, but this time for sure, with the G-Man himself, Guillermo Gomez.
Glad to be here.
Yes. And we're going to be here tonight to talk to you about, we're rebooting our cast a little bit. We're going to talk about Season 3 of Atypical. So this is our Netflix cast. You can come and find us on Facebook over at I Can't Stop Watching Netflix, where we will be posting. Well, you can find this cast there and go there, and we talk about all kinds of things on Netflix. We're also going to be doing a little Better Call Saul, which starts up tonight. Season 5, they say it's even better than ever. It's amazing. You guys you want to get in on the ground floor.
Is this the last season?
No, I think next season is.
Okay.
Maybe. I think this is this one, and then one more, or maybe this one. This is. I don't recall. Yeah, see, this is how far I've been off of the game for a while. And so we have next month our good friend, the Oscar blogger himself, Andrew Littlefield, will be visiting us. And he and I will be doing another one of our famous throwdowns. We're going to be, you guys will not have heard of this, but we're going to be throwing down Wages of Fear and Sorcerer, which are two movies that should have both been titled Boom Truck.
Yes.
Sorcerer is the remake of Wages of Fear, and they're both fantastic films. I love them both, but I will be defending the William Friedkin Roy Scheider 1978 remake, and Andrew will be defending the 1953 original of the movie about guys in a truck that might explode.
Uh-oh.
And you kind of know it's not going to because the movie will be over. But the suspense just keeps building anyway. And then we're sort of like repositioning the NatterCast a little bit here. We really like our Netflix cast, and we have some other people coming in, talk about maybe even some other things that might not have to do with whatnot. Yeah. So we're going to try and get onto a once-a-month, just regular, what are you watching? Bring it to the table. We'll have a little review and that kind of thing, and just sort of get ourselves back up on the old Natter horse. And so that's us. So if you... So if you'd like to join us, come to I Can't Stop Watching Netflix. There's a few other I Can't Stop Watchings. I Can't Stop Watching Better Call Saul. Our I Can't Stop Watching Game of Thrones has become I Can't Stop Watching HBO. So we had some pretty good conversations there about Watchmen and a few of the other HBO shows.
Avenue 5. I want to see that one.
We watched a couple of those. Yeah, you know what? Orville's better. Got to go Orville on that one.
I was really disappointed in it.
Well, it has the same premise as The Expanse. So they're stuck in the solar system at sublight speeds, right? So that's less fun than the Orville to begin with. And it feels like that's not a great premise for a Star Trek show. That's a great premise for Expanse, for a politics show. But anyway, I'm willing to give it a few more because I really love House.
Well, of course. I love Hugh Laurie.
I love Hugh Laurie.
I just find it like I don't care about any of the characters.
The characters are tough to connect to. Yeah. I agree with you on that. It's just everyone is too glib. It's not, like Orville, you feel like these people really have feelings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Things like that. They feel like, speaking of which, we'll get into Atypical. So let's talk about Atypical a little bit. We've done 2 previous casts of the previous seasons with Guillermo.
Yeah, and here's hoping third time's the charm.
And for people who've listened before, so it's okay, we mentioned, Guillermo, you are on the spectrum.
Yes.
And I tend to be fairly neurotypical myself, and so hopefully we'll have a good yin-yang here. Sion is neither typical nor spectrum. You're kind of off on the...
I'm in my own little...
You're in your own spectrum.
Yeah.
You're the quantum field.
I don't know what it is, but I'm a little wacky.
So we're definitely going to have some perspectives on how various... Everyone's on the spectrum. That's why they call it a spectrum. Right? Otherwise, to a certain... It's just so you might be extreme to one side.
Of course.
So we really found this show incredibly relatable, and especially appreciate Guillermo. So for this reason, Guillermo's going to be driving us through...
And also Guillermo's a filmmaker.
And Guillermo's a filmmaker. Let's talk about...
And an animator.
We have, Yeah, so we have Poster Boy. We just came back earlier.
Well, last year we went to see it at the Chinese Theater.
It was at Grauman's Chinese Theater. How's that for a bucket list for like little indie filmmakers?
Yeah,
we got something shown at Grauman's.
Yeah, right now Ghost in the Gun is playing at the same festival.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so we've had, and Guillermo written, directed, CEO, and produced, and I did some amazing visual effects.
You sure did.
It'll blow you away. Split optic, man. Split optics.
Exactly.
Not easy. Advanced technology.
So, Season 3 picks up where Season 2 left off, which is the night of graduation / senior lock-in, where Paige is like reacting to what Sam has just told her, which is, I love you.
Right.
And, she needs to process it. And her voice is still hoarse after she yelled at all those, at like whoever wrote harassment messages in Sam's yearbook.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And
we're seeing Paige's anger issues a little bit more.
Oh, yes.
In this season.
Oh, yes, we definitely are.
Yeah.
And she answers, along the lines of, your timing is terrible, but I accept. But I want a summer of love. Yeah, so, she's really serious about,
picnics and moonlit walks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Although, like I was saying later on in therapy, picnic, moonlit walk, and blowjob.
Yeah, he mentions that in...
That's like the third thing.
Yeah, he mentions that in his peer group.
Yeah.
Now, I'm kind of curious, like, whether the peer group takes place, like, after graduation. I mean, there's probably... after that ceremony, there's probably just a few days left, and it's got to be part of the school because, the coach is right there.
It could be a summer program.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
But this is like right before Sam goes to college at Denton. And, Amber, who's kind of a pessimist, one of Sam's peers, who's also on the spectrum, she warns that autistic students don't graduate college. Well, 4 out of 5 of them. And, this sticks with Sam throughout the episode. 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5. It, stays in his head.
Yeah.
But,
I didn't verify that statistic. Do you have any idea if that's true?
Well,
I know when I went to UNH and that we had an orientation in the big theater, and they said, I want you... Take a look at the people around you. Half of you will not graduate.
Oh, yeah. Sarah Gilbert drops that line.
Yeah.
That's from the Paper Chase, though. That's
No, they were like...
The movie.
And you're going to gain 15 pounds.
Yeah. In the Paper Chase.
Freshman 15.
Yeah. In the Paper Chase, he says, look to your left, look to your right.
Exactly.
2 of you will not be here next semester. But that was law school. Yeah.
Okay.
These were 26-year-olds. Yeah, or something.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, meanwhile... Zahid is getting prepared for nursing school. Zahid, his co-worker at Techtropolis and self-proclaimed homie.
Best friend, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and Zahid makes Sam promise, hey, don't let me screw up nursing school. And so, Sam immediately takes to this promise, but he's kind of worried about his own college experience and what's that going to be like.
Yeah.
And Zahid tells him a morality tale about a dragon who visits an overstocked weed dispensary. And the moral is pretty much, you got to get organized and you got to plan.
Right.
And so Sam takes to this and he decides he wants normal registration and he doesn't want to take advantage of the disability program at the college. Now, this kind of reminded me of what I went through. I mean, I wanted to be treated normal, but my mom's interference kind of impeded that, I thought. I mean, she wanted me to have a roof over my head, and who could blame her?
Right.
I mean, the whole things about the Housing Authority and SSA and all that stuff. Part of me kept thinking, like, how's anybody going to see me as...
independent.
Yes, exactly. If I have any of those things, but for the most part, I think I've sort of evolved beyond that.
That's good to hear. Mm-hmm. The help is there for a reason. It is to help you.
Well, of course,
to be independent. That's the point, right?
Yeah, and also, Sam also talks about his board game that his mom, created for him when he was a kid called Sam Takes a Walk.
Yeah.
And, in this board game, she creates these obstacles or so that, Sam has to try and overcome. Mm-hmm. Like, in a way, she's sort of preparing him, in the way that game sort of prepares him for the ethics class that he's going to take in college.
Sure. And I find it interesting with the ethics question because we, in the first couple seasons here, when we're more in high school, we're talking about replacement behaviors and cognitive behavioral therapy and things like that. And that's a form of ethical behavior.
Uh-huh.
It's just self-ethics, right? It's like, I don't want to do this, I want to do that, and this will help me get in that direction. And then what I loved about this season...
This whole season's...
getting into ethics, because when you're... Even for those of us who are NT out here, right? Ethics is one of the hardest cognitive puzzles, because there aren't really clear answers. There are a bunch of conflicting values.
Yeah,
and we have
exactly.
and we're quite often situational and quite often categorical and quite often virtue-based. And if I can imagine if you're someone like Sam, I don't know about Spectrum in general, but Sam being very literal and very wanting absolute answers to things, ethics is not where you want to go for absolute answers.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So.
Well, sometimes when I feel like there's a specific answer that somebody wants me to give when they ask me a question, like, how often should you get back to somebody who works like somewhere where you've applied for? And I'm inclined to respond something like, well, everybody has different definitions of, how much communication is overdoing it.
Right.
So people like that, I don't seem to really get very far with.
Very good. Speaking of getting very far with somebody, I'm warmed up a little bit to Zahid this season.
Oh, yes.
He's always been my favorite.
Has he been your favorite?
Yeah.
He's been my least favorite. Not. I think he's doing a fine job with it. It just always seems like the big box store part of it almost feels like a different show. It feels like 40-Year-Old Virgin or like a Seth Rogen comedy.
Yeah, like
and the rest of the show is so genuine. Like it feels more like Roseanne or something.
Well, if Zahid had his own vehicle, like his own Netflix original movie,
right.
I think the poster would say something like, he doesn't see people, he sees opportunities.
That's right. But I think I was going to say I feel like Zahid's a more three-dimensional character this season.
Well, yeah,
than I've seen him be.
Yeah, exactly.
Also Paige.
And Paige.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
I'd say the same.
She's gotten more three-dimensional too.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
Speaking of Paige, she plans this summer of love, and
God.
Sam is so worried about the 4 out of 5 that he cancels their planned Smoochapalooza.
It had nothing to do with it with When Harry Met Sally being her film.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
okay, I have to raise my hand here. Would an 18-year-old today really be into When Harry Met Sally? This feels like someone in my generation writing what they think a teenage girl is going to be into. But then
I can see her. She's old-fashioned in some ways.
Yeah, I had friends who liked old-fashioned romance.
Yeah, total
popcorn movies. When I was a kid.
Total mama's daddy's girl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's also there haven't been so many great rom-coms. You kind of have since.
Yeah, exactly.
since we entered a terror war, we just console Jack Ryan now.
Mm-hmm. And she also reveals that she wants to have sex, and hence the title "Best Laid Plans."
Right. Yeah.
That's the name of the first episode of this season.
Sure.
And throughout the episode, they constantly get interrupted.
Cock blocked. Yes.
Yeah, I really like that they're showing a young woman. She's now an adult, leading on the sex thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's refreshing because you don't usually see that in stories.
No.
And yet it's pretty realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is how she gets comfortable with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another, I was going to say, another piece of film that drifted into my transom while watching this was they're doing a remake of High Fidelity. With John Cusack, which is kind of the opposite of this.
Okay.
This is like overly neurotypical people screwing up their lives, and it's the same thing. It's like he one of his ex-girlfriends that he'd never slept with, and she's like, "Why didn't we sleep together?" She's like, "We were supposed to wait for college."
Yeah, exactly.
It was like she had it all planned. She was gonna sleep with him, but he broke up on graduation.
Yeah,
because they weren't having sex.
Yes, and it seems that Paige's plans interfere with Sam's plans because later at the Olive Garden, he realizes he missed the online registration for Denton, and he storms out and he chides Paige.
And so we begin the long pattern of Sam blaming women for his problems.
Well, he does come back, but he confesses the whole 4 out of 5 concern, and she does show compassion towards that, but still says no sex until Thanksgiving.
So the thing is, statistics don't apply to individuals. I can imagine that if you're not well diagnosed and well maintained and supported, it's going to be more difficult. And so that might contribute to the statistic, whereas somebody who has been as supported as Sam is and has support groups and parents who love him and has faced so many social challenges that he's been able to navigate, that his odds are better than 1 out of 5. I think.
Yeah, exactly. But, hey, what about Doug and Elsa?
What about Doug and Elsa?
Well, like I said, it continues where season 2 left off. And, Megan invites Doug to her party with some other parents from their peer group.
Right.
And, you kind of get the idea that he's avoiding Elsa.
Megan is Abby's mother? Is that right?
Amber.
Amber's mother.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I have to get the name straight.
Yeah, Amber, right.
Anyway, so Elsa gets a text from Doug that he's going to be home late, and she's so pissed that she lights a cigarette and accidentally sets fire to the bed with the cigarette ash, and I'm not really believing her reaction to it.
She goes full Farrah Fawcett. Mm-hmm. I have to say, okay, well, one thing, secret smoker, whatever, we all have our vices. On the other hand, if you're an EMT and your bed is so flammable that if you drop a cigarette on it, it'll burst into flames.
Yeah, seriously.
What are you sleeping in? Cigarettes don't ignite things, because that's why when you smoke a cigarette, it's not on fire. Right?
Right, exactly.
Because it's way below the flash point of anything.
Uh-huh.
So it's like to toss it in there. Yeah, she would have had. What I'm saying is I'm subtly accusing Elsa of having put some accelerant on the bed.
Well, but people have burned down beds and...
They smolder.
Yeah.
It's long smolder. It doesn't pop.
No, it doesn't pop.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, she says it was candles, apparently because she's a fan of those Yankee candles.
Yes, she likes the smelly candles.
Yeah.
I call the scented candles smelly candles.
It's a tobacco-scented candle.
Yeah.
It's a Marlboro candle.
It's like, how basic can you get?
Plus, also, Marlboros, really. Smoke American spirits, at least.
Yes, and so because of this, Elsa sends a text to Casey, who is Sam's sister.
Right.
And right now she is with her best friend Izzy. And she gets the fire extinguisher text while, they're in the truck, and it looked like something's about to happen for the first of multiple times this season.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, did you know Bridget Lundy Payne, who plays Casey, recently came out as gender non-binary? Meaning,
by that, yeah.
Yeah, they, them.
She likes they, them? Mm-hmm. All right, that's fine.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I just found that out.
I won't stop calling... Well, her character is a she, so I'm going to call the character a she.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, but the actress is a they. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, so Casey makes up with Evan, and he invites her to Vermont for this maple syrup festival. Mm-hmm. So now Casey seems to be in the middle of a tug of war between Izzy and Evan.
Both of them were pretty attractive. Just to say, both Evan and Izzy are both kind of above the average of the show in terms of just being classically good looking.
Yeah, exactly. And Casey also gets her appendix removed at the hospital and then has to stay in bed at home. And so both Izzy and Evan visit, and they both get into bed on either side.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, dude, these people are 16.
Yeah,
get it out of your head.
Izzy's about to be a junior.
She's about to be 17 then. She might be 17. Okay.
Yeah, and so Evan also gives her a toy sheep, if that means anything.
Well, maybe instead of a penguin.
Uh-huh.
I guess. Sheep are kind of the anti-penguins, I guess.
I suppose so. Anyway, meanwhile, back with Elsa, she vents about Doug and Megan to one of the TARP moms she knows. Mm-hmm. And then later on, she invites herself to Doug's peer group.
I like what she says. What am I going to do? I can't keep setting things on fire. Well, sure you can, Elsa.
Yeah, exactly.
Give it a try. Just keep setting things on fire until Doug comes around.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And she also attends a police training session with Doug and Megan.
Yeah. It's a training session on interacting with spectrum or other kinds of socially challenged people. Because it's, again, for NTs, it's difficult enough to listen to the cops without getting your ass shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, without
Anyway, Julia, Sam's former therapist, also attends this meeting, and she is super prego by now. And, Elsa opens up to her, and Julia's advice to Elsa is just loosen your grip.
Right.
And, sometimes I feel like this is something I need to remember myself.
Yeah.
Like, if I want, a relationship to go well, with me and the other person, I have to, pretend like I'm not obsessed with it and just sort of, especially when I call someone, I want to make sure I'm not, like, interfering with them.
Yeah, I'm sort of the same kind of way. And then what I found is that, beautiful women just throw themselves at me.
Oh, really?
I'm going full Zahid. I think that's relatively good advice. You bring up an interesting point, though, on the show that I wanted to mention, which is, and Sienna talked about this a little bit. It's interesting to me that everyone on the show, it's almost like an Alan Ball show, everyone on the show is a control freak.
Yes.
So, like, everyone in an Alan Ball show is a gay man, no matter how old, a young gay man, no matter how old and female and straight she is. She's a young gay man, right?
Right.
And here's, like, everyone's a control freak. And I always kind of thought, we'll get into it later, but I always kind of thought of Evan as the exception. He seemed to be very easygoing, kind of a slacker, and just sort of just not really looking to clench so hard onto things. And we find out a little bit later on that even that is coming from a place of wanting to keep things out of his life.
Yeah.
Even that's coming from a place of control. So
yeah, exactly.
I find
he wants to control his own life.
Exactly.
And he doesn't want to be judged by his family for not going to college.
Right. And one of the other things, recommendations I can make for people is that as I was watching, because we watched through like 2 or 3 times in the last little bit to cover for the podcast, and I'm still making my way through The Good Place and coming up to the end of that. I'm finding that these two shows pair pretty well, especially with this season because of the ethics questions.
Yeah.
And The Good Place is all about these ethics challenges.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an abstraction of those ethics challenges. I just find it as an interesting comparison between the control element in all of the characters, their impulse to control, and the ethical conversations both on this show and that one, which are fundamentally about being willing to give up control. Ethics is fundamentally about giving up control.
Yeah.
Right. And so, anyway, that's my little go on.
Yes, exactly. So Elsa follows Julia's advice and confesses to starting the fire. And, Casey, meanwhile, is worried that she'll mess things up because, she's basically in the middle of a threesome.
Yeah.
Whether she realizes it or
An
not.
underage threesome. Let's everybody remember these kids.
Yeah.
Underage.
Characters.
Keep it together. The characters are.
although
the actors are not. The actors are in their 20s. But,
Yeah, anyway, let's move on to 302, which is Standing Sam.
Oh, well, this before we go to Standing Sam, we also get in this one, I believe, Sam has to go take an ethics course. This is where we find out he has to take ethics.
Yes, exactly.
We just talked about it, so whatever. Okay, Standing Sam.
So, he wakes up and feels prepared for the Denton orientation, and here's where we learn that Zahid also goes to Denton for nursing school. So, Sam watches and narrates a video of a molten penguin and introduces the theme of reinventing yourself. And when he gets there, he's with a group of students, and the leader is this peppy chick who does this icebreaker.
Yes.
Like, say an adjective that starts with your name, followed by...
It starts with the first letter of your name, and then followed by a funky dance move.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
Like, just give yourself a nickname. And,
oh, my God.
So he makes up the nickname Standing Sam because... he found out in advance what the icebreaker was, and, he doesn't really like to dance, and I can relate. He just stands, so I'm Standing Sam. And, his peers respond positively, and they say he's hilarious. And so, his response is like, I am?
Yeah.
And so this right here is This supports my theory that Sam was not trying to be funny when he gave Paige's graduation speech for her at the end of season 2. I recall you guys kind of thought he was trying to be a little humorous, but I could see that he wasn't.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Uh-huh. And then Sam gets pressured into being part of the Tasty Trio.
Yes.
The
wrong crowd. From the bad place.
Uh-huh. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and he lucks into getting a dorm room and meeting another Sam G. But he doesn't really like the air hockey table sounds.
Yeah, the air. It's like, do they play all night? Oh, no, only for a few hours. He's just like this.
Only until 1 a.m.
Only until 1 a.m. And he's just like this panic attack look on his face.
Yeah.
What I like about this, I have a similar experience. I went to college and stayed in the dorms, and I went to UCLA and lived in San Francisco. So it's like that's sort of close by, but it's hundreds of miles. Yeah. And this kind of thing, it's like, okay, are they going to be playing that all night?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have so much anxiety, you have so much. So like little stuff will set you off like that, even if it's something you might have been able to tolerate at home. You might be able to figure out how to deal with it, but you have to do so much. You have to do so much low-level coping.
Oh, yes.
And they really introduce this idea very well. That no one thing, like doing your laundry or shopping for food or getting a parking place, no one of it sounds like it can kill you. It's the fact that you've been just thrown into this pool to do it.
Oh, yes.
And you have to do it according to some structure. It's not even like you're going out independently. It's like, well, no, this is dorm life. You have to live in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's like, Anyway, sorry.
Right. So at a party, he realizes that the Tasty Trio are not his friends, in that they haze another kid and forget Sam's name.
Right. Because they're stoners.
Yes, exactly. I mean... Doug and Elsa, meanwhile, they go to marriage counseling, and Doug is still curious about Nick. I mean, when's he going to let that go?
Is it the OCD?
Yeah,
adultery?
Right?
Yeah, right. OC adultery. Can't let it go.
Yeah, exactly. Doug also gets an EMT call about Amber, Megan's daughter, who has a panic attack. And so he suggests a calming technique with her. Because Sam likes to recite all the names of penguin species. And so, he suggests something along those lines. And towards the end, he lies about getting texts from Megan, leading to the big cliffhanger.
Right. As Sion mentioned, you'd like to see Doug do a little more hardcore rescuing.
Yeah, we just see him do very light EMT work. I would like to see, because I want to see him in action.
Yeah,
I want to get to know him more.
See
why is he an EMT?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just blanked.
Yeah, because right now we only see him at his lunch breaks.
Exactly.
Right.
I want to see, and it's very clear that he works really well with his work partner.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would like to see who he is a little bit more.
Yeah.
Why he's an EMT and more passionate.
Especially because we're having so many various things just burst into flames.
Of course.
It'd be a lot of. It's like, do you guys sit around all day? Well, no. Literally every day, someone has set something on fire.
Yeah. First, Casey's appendix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Half the time, it's people I know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But of course, that would be expensive too. What I'm suggesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, Casey, meanwhile, defies the recovery time after her appendectomy, and soon is back at school. All right, so Nate, Izzy's boyfriend, makes a peace offering to Izzy, and he gets both of them milkshakes, but tells Casey that you're still a bitch.
Right.
And Casey gets in trouble for milkshaking Nate.
I punch your milkshake. I punch it up.
She's like, no, I bopped it.
Yeah.
I didn't punch it, I bopped it. I pop your milkshake. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's kind of on thin ice there. But then later on in the episode, she offers to help Sam with his dorm accommodations and be his quote-unquote emotional support human.
Yeah.
And, that sounds pretty nice. Elsa, meanwhile, tends to Paige's succulent plants while Paige is away at Bowden.
Yes.
Yeah. And throughout the episode, she confronts Casey about the school trouble, and she also realizes that her friend Kathy is a plant enthusiast. Now, Kathy is the one who referred her to the elusive Dr. Braab in Season 2, and Elsa also babysat her kitten.
Oh,
So-
I missed all that connection. So
Yeah.
glad to have you here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And so Elsa herself tries to schedule an appointment with disability services. And I think in this one, she goes over to the desk and the lady at the desk asks, "Are these services for you?" It's like they're for her son. And, she tries to work something out, but it's like he has to be there.
Right. Well, I get the sense that Rudolph, who we meet later on,
Yeah.
was more cooperative.
This is more of her meddling.
Yes,
It is more of her
exactly.
meddling, but she also had a guy there who we see later on who was a little more codependent and helpful with the meddling. But
Yes.
she was well organized and had specific questions, and he just appreciated it. And so she thought she had an in with this place, and then he's on leave. And so she gets the total bureaucratic blow off. It's like, hypothetical student can come to me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Elsa also notices that Cindy the plant is drooping. Now, Paige names all her succulents, and one of them is named Cindy. And Elsa notices that Cindy is drooping and calls on Kathy, who says, "Back off, lady." Same advice, pretty much the same advice as Julia did.
Yes, the metaphorical overwatering.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
later on they say, "And I'm overwatering my family the way I do these plants." Just so you
yeah,
can pick
yeah,
it up.
that's what she says to Sam.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that is a little. It's like I got it. I got
Yeah.
the metaphor.
So the episode is about reinvention, and reinventing myself was hard when I was in college, but I think it became much easier when I joined Scary Cow and got to express myself as a filmmaker and thinker of ideas.
Scary Cal is our film co-op that we're members of, that we met Guillermo through.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's reinvention, and then there's. I try not to invent myself at all. That way, you don't have to reinvent.
Yeah.
But you have to be somebody, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, in Scary Cow, it just sort of came naturally.
Yeah.
You found your tribe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're very popular.
Well, I mean, we love working on it. Poster Boy is one of the most fun I've had with a project, mainly because I only did a couple visual effects, but also because I'm really proud of the work. I mean, I look at that movie and I'm like, you guys really put something together, both of you.
Aw.
I am very appreciative.
Well, thank you very much.
I didn't mind driving all the way to LA and back.
Oh, of course. Right. Well, timing is everything. That's the beginning of the third episode, which is called Cocaine Pills and Pony Meat.
Yes. Now we're getting into my type of subject matter.
Of course.
What?
Yes. So timing is everything,
Backcountry.
as Sam figures out when he gets to college. He starts the day with a deliberate sugar rush, as opposed to Ernest Shackleton, who kept his expedition team alert with cocaine pills back when they were doing their expedition of Antarctica, I believe.
Cocaine was very popular in the early 20th and late 19th centuries.
Yes.
I mean, heck, they made Coca-Cola out of it.
Yeah, they thought it was just
Well, and
completely
still
normal.
down, what is it, in Chile, the Andes, or something?
Well, they
People
choose
are
the coca leaves.
Yeah, they choose the leaves for energy
Yeah.
That's a little bit less intense than taking
Yes.
the cocaine pills.
Interesting.
Yeah.
or snorting. Yeah,
I can
Right.
only. No wonder Shackleton had such a hard time. I can only imagine. I can't walk across the city if I'm on cocaine. Forget it. I'm not going to have to
really.
walk across Antarctica. I'm all coked out of my mind. Oh, jeez, that would be
Yes.
terrible. Okay.
Right, exactly. And
All right.
so it's in this episode where we meet Miss Judd, played by Sarah Gilbert.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, and she says that the ethics class will be an easy D.
That's right.
Yeah, she talks too fast for Sam to comprehend.
And this is the look to your left, look to your right thing. She says that.
Uh-huh.
Sarah Gilbert's a longtime crush.
Yeah, me too.
man, just-
I had a crush
oh
on her,
my
and I used to
God.
feel really guilty about it because I was like in my 20s, and she's this young actress. I'm like, why am I crushing on this Roseanne character?
Well, she's only a few years younger than I am, so I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
get away with it a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the SNL episode she hosted back in '94 with the Counting Crows.
But she's looking good older. She's got her
Yeah, she's
face
aging
going
beautifully.
naturally,
Oh, yeah.
beautifully. She didn't
Yeah.
tuck everything up, and then she just looks like a nice 40, 42-year-old woman. Just,
Early 50s, maybe?
No.
no, I'm 50. So she's younger than I am.
Yeah, got it. All right, then. So the class is called Normative Ethics, or How One Ought to Act.
Yes.
All right, and Zahid demonstrates to Sam how to take notes and filter out garbage. And he does this by talking to Bob, the boss at Tektropolis, who's, he's an affable character who has a bigger role this season.
Yeah.
And evidently his wife is cheating on him.
Yeah.
Because...
Yes, again, with the henpecked male characters, I have to say this show does kind of lean in that direction, but women get enough of a voice, I would say, to balance it.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway, so following this advice, Sam erases Elsa's whiteboard calendar. And
no, that was such a big no-no.
Oh, yes, of course. And he also gets the idea to use alarms, like Ernest Shackleton did. Yeah, so...
as long as you're not using cocaine, like Ernest Shackleton did.
Right, exactly. He uses a timer when, talking with someone. And this reminds me of a story that Sion told about somebody who used a timer.
When they were talking to me. Mm-hmm. I want to sneak that into one of our films at some point.
Uh-huh.
Which one? I'm sorry, I missed it.
It's so rude.
What's the reference?
Using an iPhone and say, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to talk with me.
Oh, no.
Remember that?
Yeah, no, I heard about that. Yeah. We have to use that one.
Yeah.
Especially
when you're being really, really, really generous with the person.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And then they do treat you like that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so that's what Sam does with Paige. He cuts their web chat short with a timer. And he immediately, closes the laptop.
Mm-hmm.
He clamshelled her. That was just so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also does this with his dad, too.
Yeah, good night, Paige. Good night, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
He's definitely going through the freshman hyperactivity that I can remember, and they bring up the Coke pills or whatnot, but it's not a joke. There's one thing that this show doesn't do that I find interesting is that you don't see a lot of alcoholism, drug use. A little bit, some smoking. Doug has a drinking problem, but he doesn't seem to fall off the wagon.
Yeah,
these kids are not arriving home drunk or puking, or there's not these crazy parties. And
hey, what do you expect? It's prep school.
Well, yeah,
my God! Private prep schools for the most amount of drugs, particularly prescription, because a lot of them have doctors as parents.
Yeah, it's like a Bret
my God!
No, it's like a Bret Easton Ellis novel.
It's really
I've knew some prep school kids, and they were coked out of their gills all the time.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So, but the point is, I kind of like it about the show. It makes it a little bit sweeter and more innocent, but it is something that I noticed. It's like there would be more messed up kids around somewhere, and it would be more of a looming threat. I never see drug use as a looming threat on the show.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It might be a distraction if it was. So.
Yeah, exactly. Sam, meanwhile, can't sleep, and he goes to his mom for guidance, like, what did we do when I was a kid? And couldn't get to sleep. And, they had kind of a tender moment, and, he also, dreams about an expedition of Antarctica with Julia.
Mm-hmm.
His thing with Julia.
Yeah.
He's mostly over it.
Yeah, exactly.
You just hold on to those things. He's dreaming. It's a subconscious.
Yes, but unfortunately, he's late for class again due to a drained phone battery, and he tells his mom, thanks to you, I slept great.
See, again, so there's Paige, now it's Elsa. It's everybody else's fault.
Yes, exactly.
You're relaxing too much.
Yeah, and he notes that Ernest's team died from bad weather and bad pony meat. As a way of saying that, hey, you can do all the right things and still fail, and no expedition goes as scheduled.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And, he finally buckles down and applies to disability services and meets a girl named Sydney who thinks he's cute.
Mm-hmm.
And now in classes he has a new note taker named Evelyn.
Well, that was excited Evelyn.
Yeah.
I will say that as annoying as she was, at least I remember her name. And I keep getting Amber and Abby mixed up.
Yeah, I know.
Because they didn't do a little dance and tell me their name.
Yes, well, Casey, meanwhile, learns that Izzy wants to escape, and so Casey asks her and Evan and Elsa, which 3 places would you go?
Mm-hmm.
And, Izzy invites her to escape to UCLA on a scholarship.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is a big decision, of course. So Casey has to think about it.
Yeah.
And Evan now works at this pizza place, and you get the feeling that they're growing apart because he seems hesitant to come to California with her, and he also seems to be kind of lazy. Like, he doesn't seem to be that enthusiastic about getting a real job.
Right, like I was saying, he's laid back, or lazy maybe, is what it seemed like. Less of a control-oriented person is what it seems.
Yeah, and
We'll see.
so Casey gives Evan this book called What Color Is Your Parachute, which is a classic guide to job hunting and is still in print and updated today. Sure. It's something I've never read, but...
I tried to, but it just had too much homework in it.
Of course.
And it's, it's for, it really is for like corporate compliance levels of work that you're going to look for more than independent filmmaking. It's not, as much. I do want to say before we go on with it, first of all, I love Casey's choices for cities: Dublin, San Francisco, and Cape Town.
Oh, yes.
Right. And then I like how Evan is like, you mean Cape Cod?
Oh,
It's like, no, Cape Cod's right over there. Trape Town in South Africa. And he's like, well, I guess I would want to go to Providence. And she's like, Providence is like 200 miles away. So your life's ambition is to travel 200 miles away.
Yeah, it's geographical humor for you.
Right. And then just on my own little personal thing is that I sort of in the Casey space. I went to UCLA. I didn't think I was going to get in. Because of various things. And so I had already accepted to go to Santa Cruz, and I was in a relationship. And it felt like it would be easier if I was in Santa Cruz. And then I got into UCLA, and I had this, kind of this exact Casey, Evan. I didn't have an Izzy, but I had a situation. And it was like, I ultimately had to, I can't screw up my whole life when I'm 18 by going to college. I got to go to UCLA. But that was tough. I remember the feelings around that were very tough, and so I'm very sympathetic to Casey in this thing of not knowing whether to be a local girl or a.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, it was a little weird for me because I went to school with some of my friends, including my boyfriend, and we kind of everybody fell apart once we got to UNH.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was pretty traumatic.
That's probably what would have happened if I...
Yeah.
Now, I had a lot of high school friends, but they were just casual friends.
Right.
So we stayed together. But anyway.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, well, anyway, Doug, meanwhile, goes to New York with Megan for first responder training. And before that, he drives Sam home after a hard day and says he believes in him despite the 4 out of 5 statistic, and says that, Sam, you're really resilient. And, that's something that reminded me of, what I went through when I worked at Amazon a few months ago.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best time there, but I survived it. And, now I feel a little more...
I don't think a lot of people have the best time.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They have some pretty miserable working conditions.
You wouldn't be the first.
Yeah, you kicked some serious ass doing that.
Yeah, of course.
It should also be mentioned that Casey and Izzy are talking about getting into UCLA on an athletic scholarship.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're going to have to work and train, and the coach is pressuring them to, simplify their lives and focus on
this. Exactly. And Casey, meanwhile, seems like she's turning into her mom when she, tries to guide Evan towards getting a real job. And so upon realizing this, she gives Evan a makeshift pizza as a peace offering. And it leads you to wonder, how often do people become their moms?
Or their dads.
You know what Sigmund Freud said? If it's not one thing, it's your mother.
Of course.
We certainly become our parents and affiliate to our parents and seek people who remind us of our parents. And of course. And peers and siblings.
And Elsa mentions that she used to be cool, went to a bunch of Fleetwood Mac shows.
Right, we dropped the Fleetwood Mac reference here.
Yeah, for the first of a few episodes. And later on, she gives Julia a baby present and has another impromptu therapy session.
I can tell you, Julia has no boundaries.
I think she was starting to develop some there, as Elsa was just Julia was falling off a cliff in that conversation. She's I'm not following any of this.
Yes,
I can't think about your problems. I got my own problem stand.
Yeah,
exactly. And so later on, Elsa meddles again by visiting Megan and giving back her sweater, and, there's kind of an awkward silence. And I think she wears sunglasses, right?
Elsa?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. It's like
To hide
wearing
her
those
eyes.
sunglasses to say, like, don't fuck with me.
Right. And also so you can't read my eyes, because I want to read yours.
Well, anyway, Megan mentions that Amber hates college, and, that to me kind of reinforces a stereotype that I see throughout this show. I mean, Amber seems so negative, and I feel like I have yet to see an ASD teen in this show who is, like, actually functioning. And there's that other negative guy in season 1 and 2. I found out his name's Christopher, but he doesn't appear this season.
Yeah. Would you say it's fair to say that it's hard to find anybody on the show who's functioning? And that's just a broadly dysfunctional group of characters? Because they all seem very decent and intelligent.
Well, yeah.
And they're compulsive, but they seem to have a little OCD around repeated behaviors that don't work for them.
Yeah, but anyway, what I mean to say is that everybody on the spectrum is like behaving the way everybody expects them to. The people who watch the show expect them to.
Right.
And so, we haven't been thrown a whole lot of curveballs.
We haven't seen... we need to see... I think they should bring this in the next season for sure. We have not seen an adult on the spectrum who's successful in life, who's going to help. Because it's one thing to say these kids are all kind of screwed up. Well, all kids are screwed up.
Well, yeah.
But to somebody at like Elsa or Doug's level... who is on the spectrum themselves and is managing and has a mentor, an Obi-Wan of some sort, who can really help. Because we've seen nobody who has a great deal of insight into this condition who's not neurotypical.
Right.
It's like everyone's either on the spectrum or they have insight.
Exactly.
We're not seeing a lot of people on the spectrum who have insight into themselves. You're right.
Yeah,
I think you're right about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although Sam sort of provides some insight during his narration for a lot of he bookends a lot of the episodes by doing that.
Yeah. Well, later on, I'll skip it over when we talk about later on, when he's doing the what is the essence of a penguin thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's when it occurred to me how little insight he actually had, because he gains some that I thought he already had from the way he was acting. So maybe we're moving toward insight. We're slouching toward insight for these characters.
When we get there, I wanted to ask Guillermo some things.
Yeah,
okay.
me too. Okay. So
meanwhile, let's get on with episode 304, which is Y.G.A.G.G. We're going to find out what that means in a few. Now, that begins with Sam drawing a portrait of Paige during a web chat with her. And, he claims that he doesn't need friends and that tortoises are solitary.
Okay.
Yeah, so Paige, seems to be succeeding at Bowden, as she has this new allergist. And, things seem to be going great for her. Meanwhile, Sam has a new art teacher, Professor Shinerock, played by Eric McCormick from Will and Grace.
Okay.
You almost wouldn't recognize him with
that's
that beard.
That's who that was. It's Will and Grace.
Yeah.
I thought I recognized the snag. It's Will.
He's so tiny.
He's so small. He's such a lollipop.
Yeah. I kept going, does that guy weigh like 100 pounds?
But I recognized him. I didn't know where he was from.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Same here, yeah.
Anyway, so in art class, Sam frets over a lost 9B pencil. And, he's looking all around for it. And one of his peers, Abby, gives him back the pencil and invites him to this art jam that one of her friends is hosting in their dorm room. And Zahid, meanwhile, experiences some ignorance from peers at college. I mean, he's used to being the life of the party.
Right.
And so he goes to the art jam with Sam, and, he's kind of disappointed by the results. But Sam, on the other hand, loves the atmosphere, especially the next art prompt, which is penguins.
But he does score. He does score at this party.
Yes, eventually he meets Gretchen outside, listening to his favorite song, Wrecking Ball.
Right.
Yeah, so...
and she looks so much like the Olsen twins.
Oh, yes.
It was distracting to me.
Well, this whole subplot makes me think that Zahid is actually in Fight Club.
Okay.
Right? He has a friend who could be imaginary, and he's got a crazy girlfriend. He's a corporate slob, and he takes masochistic self-abuse to calm down, right?
Of course.
That's like Fight Club.
That's Fight Club.
He pretty much takes a wrecking ball.
Yeah. So there you go. It's Zahid Fight Club.
Right, exactly. So, Anyway, before the art jam, Paige tells Sam a cautionary story about her roommate, Meredith the dorm rat, who brought a block of cheese to a party for nothing. Yeah, she seems pretty confident in this story, but, spoiler alert, it turns out she's Meredith.
Yes, of course. I think we all picked that up while she was telling the story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the day after, Zahid comes into work triumphant and says, clearly I'm the dragon, bro.
Right.
But it's like, how do you overhear Bob? Because Bob is mentioning, like, he's looking at the emojis that, Zahid texted Sam, which include, like, an eggplant, and
what does this mean?
I guess a dragon.
Who's the dragon here?
Yeah, exactly.
What does this even mean? You millennials.
Yeah.
Or you post-millennials, whatever you want.
Anyway, that's a little continuity thing I noticed. Like, if he was outside, how do you overhear Bob? So,
Right, yeah, I got it. You're right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Doug learns that Elsa visited Megan and confronts her about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so things are heating up, I guess. And I noticed that they're really downplaying Doug and Elsa this season, and even Elsa seems to be aware of that.
Well, Elsa, she says she's looking for more purpose.
Yeah.
Because she's less needed. And that's causing a lot of the trouble. I think we're a little bit more... With Doug and Megan, we have... That complicates Doug's life a little bit.
Yes.
But there's not a lot of drama there. There's just a couple of dinner scenes. So
yes. Yeah. So Elsa tells her tart moms about her dream where she drowns in a lake, she feels unloved by her family. And so then she starts a clothing drive for another family so that she feels like she has a purpose. And her friend Kathy visits the house and feels a presence inside and says, Y.G.A.G.G, you got a ghost girl.
You got a ghost girl.
It's like, Jesus.
I like that Doug says, I hope it's not a teenager.
Exactly, of course. So Izzy then helps with the clothing drive while Casey and Evan are away. And Casey and Evan, meanwhile, are going to New Hampshire with Evan's sister Beth to visit their sick dog, Dewey. Now, Beth, as you may recall, was the bullied girl in season 1. Like, Bailey Bennett wrote Orca on her locker, etc.
Right.
And Beth also, accidentally hits Sam with her car in episode 203.
Right.
So, she appears intermittently throughout the season.
Yeah.
She's such a sweetie pie, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the three of them take a car trip, and Beth is, despite being super annoying, she brings these things called positivity brownies.
Which,
I've had a few positivity brownies in my time.
Me too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Positivity cookies.
Yes.
Candies.
Spoiler alert, it's not always positive.
Right, and...
just usually.
Yeah, and Evan and Beth's dad, Dwayne, is played by Todd Robert Anderson from another one of my favorite shows called You're the Worst.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes, he's got a total Tom Hanks vibe going on.
Yeah. This is the part I wanted to talk about. This is Evan's dad.
Uh-huh.
Right? And we start to see part of what makes Evan tick.
Oh, of course.
And what occurred to me here, with the way Dad is sleazy with him and lies about the dog and all this crap, is that... And then later on, Evan says... the reason I want to stay and be a small-town guy and I'm not a big fan, whatever, is because I don't want to do what my dad did. That's because he perceives that his dad ran off to try and be something bigger than he was. Mm-hmm. And the dad even says, at least you're not trying to be something you're not.
Yeah.
Which is the dad criticizing himself.
Oh, uh-huh.
So now that got me to start to realize that Evan's slacking even is based on a desire to control something.
Right, exactly.
Even that is. It's not just laziness. It's,
Yeah. Well, I think it's at that point where Casey sticks up for Evan,
Yes.
And then he apologizes, or she apologizes, like she didn't mean to be so extreme, and then he grabs her and kisses her.
Gives her the kiss.
Mm-hmm. And Beth, meanwhile, steals the dog.
Yeah, I love that. What did you think of the stepmom's Photoshop printed cakes?
Oh, well.
Horrific.
Yeah, well, we all have our talents.
I guess so. Yeah. All right.
Uh-huh. So the car breaks down on the way home, and so Doug picks them up. He comes in to save the day.
Good old Doug, he said.
Yeah, and Izzy, meanwhile, bonds with Elsa, and Elsa says, hey, our door's always open. Because Izzy has some family problems herself, which we're going to find
Very
out
dramatic.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is also the first mention of a fictitious baked potato chain named Sally Sour Cream.
Yes.
Must be an East Coast thing. Must be a New England thing.
It's a little carb heavy.
Of course.
A little carb heavy.
Yeah.
Seems more southern.
Yeah, it's a wonder how Paige stays so thin.
And she's got a lot of muscle.
Well, when
That
you work
actress
at one of
works
those
out.
places, you can't stand to eat the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she would be off of potatoes probably for the rest of her life.
Yeah,
Assuming they
exactly.
use potatoes.
Anyway, on to episode 305, Only Tweed. Now,
Well, she threw a burrito right at the end. of
Oh,
this one.
yes.
So she hurled. So a couple of
yeah, so
a couple of more Bret Easton Ellis high school graduates are mocking her about her burrito, and she flung it at them.
yes, exactly. And so
She has some anger control issues.
She has
yes.
anger management problems
Yes.
that
Yeah.
become apparent.
And so, as a result of this, at the beginning of 305, she deals with the consequences of the burrito incident.
Yes.
And, of course, she's overdressed in order to make her case.
It looks like a Chanel suit.
Yes, indeed. You know, she begs for a second chance. And, Sam, meanwhile, works on a Socratic seminar. He tries to prepare for it, and the topic of the seminar is AI, not the Spielberg-Kubrick movie, thank God.
Hey, I like the Spielberg Kubrick movie.
Jason knows a lot about AI.
Yes, and so during the timed debate in class, Sam fails to talk by the deadline and gets an F, and learns that he can write a paper on it instead. And he's still worried about flunking college. But Paige, meanwhile, has planned this virtual dinner party.
Oh my God, this is the highlight of the season.
Indeed.
Oh my God,
Yeah, the virtual dinner
this episode
party.
kills me.
I know.
Yeah, this is like Knives Out with
So good.
with Skype.
So well done.
So
Skype's out.
she takes charge and hosts the dinner party via her tablet.
Yes.
Or Sam's tablet, we should say.
Yes.
And the guests are Sam, Casey, Izzy, Zahid, and
Evan?
Gretchen.
Oh, no, Gretchen. Yeah. That's a great party.
Yeah, you already know it's going to be a blast when Casey defies Paige's rule of no tweed.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said only tweed.
She just loves. She's just such a little. Like
She
she's
loves
just
to
a
push
little
people's
shit.
buttons.
yeah, she's just a little pot stirrer. I get a kick out of it sometimes.
Well, especially because of her relationship with Elsa.
Yeah.
Right, she
Of
just
course.
loves pushing Elsa's buttons.
Yes.
And Elsa's got a million of them. She's like
Yeah.
a piano.
Yes, exactly. So during the dinner, Sam's worried about flunking college, but Gretchen's like, hey, you can learn everything on YouTube, and, sort of gets into a debate with Sam about college usefulness.
And there he goes. He does a perfect Socratic conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
She's saying, what about all the inventions by people who didn't go to college? And it was fire, the wheel, and loincloths. Well,
Yes. And so when Casey needs to use the restroom, Paige forces Casey to take her with her. Take the tablet with her.
Oh my God.
I
I love the way that played out too. Like, you're not taking it. This is what girls do.
This is what girls do.
exactly.
I'm not going to. Casey immediately gets what she wants. Have girl talk in the bathroom.
Yeah, and Paige, she confides in Casey, I need a win right now.
Right.
And so Casey leaves the tablet in the bathroom, when Evan turns up, I believe.
Yep. Oh, right. No, Zahid.
No,
Zahid goes into the bathroom.
well, he does, yes.
Okay.
But Evan shows up
Evan
at the
shows up
door,
at
so
the
she
door.
goes downstairs.
Yeah.
Right,
Forgets
the thing. You're right.
Yeah, forgets that she left the tablet in there, and then Zahid
hysterical.
goes to use the restroom, and
Whips out his dragon.
yeah,
Unleashes the dragon.
yeah.
Now, if we want to play again, I guess maybe Paige is probably 18. These characters are close to underage.
Yeah, and
He urinated into the camera. She was looking right at the stream.
yeah, well,
Right.
yeah, when Evan shows up to the party, Izzy kind of storms off because she's mad at Evan for bailing out on Doug. Yeah, because Evan was supposed to show up to an EMT ride-along.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Yeah, so at the height of the argument, Paige just sort of intervenes. She just sort of takes charge, and then right as she's making her speech, she gets a phone call and signs off.
Right.
And then they have to deal with all of it themselves.
Now they're in some kind of king rat scenario. They have to deal with each other now that they don't have the oppressor.
Yeah.
Need a common enemy. That's the thesis of that book, is always have a common enemy with people.
Yes, exactly. And, I kind of knew someone like Gretchen once, and, she was attractive but totally full of shit.
Yeah.
I've known more than a few.
Yeah.
She was more of an idealist than
Kind of like
a lot of Gretchens in my life.
Kind of the manic pixie type.
Well, it's more Marla Singer.
Oh, yeah.
I've known
Like
a few
for Fight Club,
Marla Singer. I was in the goth area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's such a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and...
Marla seems like one until you realize the twist in the movie. Then
Right.
you realize that she's trying her best.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Speaking of college, I have this recurring dream where, I go to high school or college year after year until I get enough credits to leave, and I forget to attend classes, etc.
Oh, yeah, I get some of those dreams.
Yeah, and that's what this episode reminded me of. And it also reminded me of the fact that I can be kind of scared of arguing and debating.
Oh, yeah?
Especially with somebody that I know is going to win, like Sion.
Oh, no. Sion and I love arguing and debating.
Yeah, I think a lot of our friends are happy we're together because we no longer argue and debate with them so much. We do it with each other. Yeah, we're debaters. I was on the debate team in high school.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Okay. Elsa, meanwhile, intrudes on Sam's studying, and then she runs into her estranged mother on the street.
Yes. And this is Jenny O'Hara. And I was just going crazy. It's like, that's... I thought it was Carrie Fisher's mother for a while, but she's passed away.
Right.
And then I was like, well, is that Jamie Lee Curtis's mom? No, she's passed. No, that's not. But it's Jenny O'Hara. She just happens to look like, these other actors of her generation. But I totally buy her as Jennifer Jason Leigh's mother.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And this derails her quest for the lavender Yankee candle, which, she tells Doug about, and she later finds one in the bedroom with a note from, quote-unquote, the ghost.
Doug.
Yeah, exactly. And then she has a tender scene in the bedroom with, Sam and the rest of the gang. And Sam's paper grade is posted, and he gets a C, and Zahid congratulates Sam on debating with Gretchen, and the next debate they have on GMOs goes well, and he gets a C for that one, too.
Okay.
And we also get an interesting character reveal from Evan, which is that he didn't show up for the ride-along because of the possibility of taking a test.
Right.
And he's worried about tests because he says he's dyslexic.
Right, yeah. I forgot about the dyslexia as well, which would also discourage you from seeking college and things like that.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
All right, so the big important bombshell at the end of 305 is that Paige drops out of Bowdoin and comes home.
Right.
Just for Sam.
Just for Sam. She's decided to find her. And yes.
Yes, and so now we move on to 306, which is the essence of a penguin. Paige is home again for Sam, and so he has, kind of a tender moment with her. And, she talks back to back with him and sort of opens up about, being the dorm rat. And I relate to this story Paige tells because I've always felt like the new kid through high school and college. I mean, the quote is, they knew each other, they got each other, but nobody got me. And so, that's something I went through a lot.
A lot of people feel that way. Practically everybody feels.
As someone who went to 10 different schools,
well, you.
I know all about the new kids thing. I kind of liked it though.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I didn't change schools a lot, and I felt like a new kid a lot as well. It's
right.
It's common.
So later on. Paige became addicted to online shopping and got a canoe.
Love that.
Like
Canoe.
like the one in the picture of on the Bowden brochure, probably. But that canoe looks totally matted into that shot.
How did they get that canoe into that room? It's impossible. You would have to crane it in through the window. No, that was fun, but silly.
What I think is interesting too is like this bit really shows us that she doesn't know who she is.
Yeah.
She doesn't know herself.
Yeah.
She's imagining, oh, this looks cool, and I'll create an imaginary world around it. But she doesn't really ask, who am I, and where do I fit, and what do I really want to do?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, she dresses loud for job interviews and has a lot of hair buns. And
Yeah, the hair is
bows.
something.
And, she lets Elsa have her succulent plants, like saying she's a natural caretaker. But then she ends up back at Sally Sour Cream in a potato costume. And she's like, what happened to me? And
She does ask what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. And so Elsa, meanwhile, says that, I'm great when I'm needed. And so when Elsa visits Paige at Sally Sour Cream, she gives her a kind of a movie star speech, as BoJack Horseman would call it, and sort of lifts her spirits.
Yeah. I thought that was sweet.
Sam, meanwhile, later sketches Stumpy the Penguin at the aquarium, and his art teacher loves it. And the next assignment is capture your animal's essence, no rules. So Sam spends this episode trying to figure out what's the essence of a penguin.
Right.
And so Bob, meanwhile, the boss, is packing for his Jamaica trip. And Zahid cleans out his wardrobe at Gretchen's command and agrees to drive Sam to the aquarium in exchange for doing inventory at Tektropolis. Now we see Zahid disagreeing with Gretchen, and, as a result, he's now gluten-free and not eating corn dogs anymore.
Yes, he's having to give it all up.
Oh, I love that when he was like talking about the corn dog, because I think I'm the only person I know who really loves them.
I'm like, I like that kind of thing, but corn dogs never really did it
just
for
love
me.
corn dogs.
I know you do.
I resist them, but yeah.
I like
Yeah.
bagel dogs.
So Sam studies at the aquarium, and he gets Stumpy's schedule and shows it to the teacher, but still doesn't really understand the concept of, what the essence is. And one day on the way to the aquarium, Zahid and Gretchen argue and make out during a montage set to Push It by Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, push it real good.
I thought that was really cleverly done.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Yes, exactly. And so Sam finds out from Malik the trainer that Stumpy has a parasite. And, Sam points out that penguins are consistent, and the essence is the thing that stays true about them.
Yeah.
And so then he creates a word portrait of a penguin, which I thought was really, really clever.
Yeah. Well, I
did
like
too.
how he cracked essence, because he doesn't really understand what it means.
Well, it's abstract.
It's abstract, and he's a very concrete thinker, and the teacher's being kind of snaggy and not helpful.
Yeah.
Right, trying to be emotionally inspiring, but not really clear.
Let me explain what snag is.
Oh, right.
Yes, sensitive new age guy.
Sensitive new age guy.
Yeah.
It's a snag.
They think they're feminists, but they usually aren't.
Right.
They're yoga teachers that kind of touch too much.
Man bun.
Man bun.
Bad touch yoga teacher.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
With
That's
his
a
own
classic
astrology class.
snag.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
this guy doesn't seem to be that offensive. He's
No.
just an art teacher
Yeah.
with a little
Yeah.
enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But I really loved this, that Sam doesn't get what an essence really is. And what's the essence of essence?
Right.
Yeah.
I was expecting Zoolander, essence of wetness.
Of course.
So here's where I wanted to ask you a question. So we see here, and then we're going to see later more, because he's basically developing his artistic process. Like he's growing into it. Like, oh, okay, how do I, instead of just drawing, really good pictures that are, just well executed, but there's no depth to them. He now is like plumbing his mind and studying his penguin more and trying to figure out like things like the essence. And then later we go into the political, like, in the next episode.
The politics of carnage and penguin mortality.
How do I communicate that without being obvious?
Yeah.
So here's my question to you. That's like a really big deal, I think, for someone on the spectrum.
Oh, really?
Because you're going into metaphor and abstract, which is supposedly doesn't come as easily. for people on the spectrum.
I see.
But you're an artist like he is.
Yeah.
Because you draw and you do animation and you
Sure.
direct and write. So I'm just curious, did you find yourself identifying at all with his process?
Well, I'm definitely not sensitive to blood, if that's what you're implying.
Neither am I. No, but just like how he was made to think in a really brand new way. And he led his own thinking. Mm-hmm. So he really owns it. And it's like he really overcame something big.
Yeah, I think, I thought it was really clever when he decided to portray the penguin in words that become a picture.
Yeah.
And, that's something you might have seen somebody like Robert Crumb do.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he's known for writing really tiny letters at times, and making, really
well, and his
tiny...
brother
Yes.
especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole family is just so creative.
Mm-hmm.
So did you find yourself, like when you were in your creative process and you're writing or drawing, do you find yourself wanting to go more into the abstract or metaphors a little bit?
Well, yeah, a little bit. I mean, sometimes that stuff doesn't come to me immediately.
Right.
I think of it like much later on.
Right.
Because I'm writing now for a character with ADHD, and I've been studying it a lot and noticing a few things about myself that are similar to the ADHD experience. Not that I'm self-diagnosing or anything, but I insert some of my sayings like, okay, you can do this, but it won't be good. And thinking of, just sort of injecting those into the script because, people seem to relate to them. Mm. Like, you only want to do something if you know it's going to be good.
Right.
And, if sometimes if I sit myself down to do something and I think, oh, it's not going to be good, I tend to distract myself with something else. And then, it just becomes a cycle. And this is the kind of cycle that my character wants to break out of. Mm-hmm. And Casey, meanwhile, is now fighting with Izzy over Evan. Yeah, and Elsa, tries to meddle, but Casey, sets a boundary, like, don't meddle.
Yeah, right. Listening and not doing.
Yes, exactly.
I like she's using like 30
I'm a
words.
big ear.
I'm the big ear. Okay, here we go, big ear.
Yeah, this is, listen more, do less. And, that's something I try to do. I try to listen more and do less.
I've been working on that, too.
We all are different kinds of interveners.
Right, well...
I love to intervene.
I know.
It's bad.
I got over it.
Casey tells... she later gets a text from Izzy that, she's okay because Izzy's absent from school for a few days and, people are starting to gossip about her. And we later learned that Izzy's mom disappeared.
Right.
And so Izzy stays over with Casey while the mom is MIA and, confesses, hey, I'm a jerk. I was jealous. And there's kind of an L word moment that ends this episode.
Uh-huh. Well, they kiss, right?
No, they almost do.
They almost do. Right.
Mm-hmm. This is the end of 306, and I feel like every episode from 305 or 306 onward or 303 onward kind of feels like a series finale.
Yeah, there's a lot of building. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of big conclusions keep happening.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not over yet as we go to 307, which is called Shrinkage. Now, we think we might know what shrinkage means, but we soon find out from Zahid what it means.
Inventory shrinkage.
Yeah, exactly. So Sam, during his moral quandary quiz, he shows little compassion, and so he seems like a heartless person when he gives those answers about who would you save, and
so Professor Judd gives him the basic the train dilemma that's been presented a lot in ethics.
Yes,
right, a variation of it, basically to you, a simple one that says, would you save more people you don't know or fewer people that you do? And he's like, oh, of course, more people I don't, because he's just valuing it on the basis of life and not necessarily his own relationships with them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and for a lot of us, it wouldn't be so easy, but he makes a good case.
But yeah, the stereotype alert for me is the lack of compassion.
Right. Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she kind of is really glib about that with him. She's like, well, I guess it's really easy for you. And meaning, I think, that lack of compassion.
Yeah, exactly. And Zahid, meanwhile, is succeeding in his job and his relationship, unlike Sam, it seems like. But Sam accesses security camera footage of Gretchen stealing a Fitbit. I mean, how basic can you get?
A turquoise one.
A turquoise Fitbit.
And he consults Casey and Evan about it.
And Professor Judd.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And so he shows the footage to Zahid, and Zahid calls it shrinkage and begs for Sam to turn a blind eye. And
Sorry, but I love what she says too. Fascinating. You're taking the ontological approach, and your friend is virtue-based. Fascinating. It's like the least helpful sentence probably ever uttered in the English language.
Yeah, and so she questions like why Sam is friends with him, and sometimes I'm wondering the same thing. Like, why does Sam look up to this person? And usually I think it's because he knows more about girls.
He comes off as very socially successful, even though he's not.
Yes,
so
exactly.
He has the appearance of somebody who has talents that Sam wants for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so Sam researches his many notebooks on Zahid, who may have forgotten who he is. According to Julia. Julia, meanwhile, is back at work and has to pump breast milk in the janitor's closet, and she's kind of fussy about it. And Sam shows up to her place at the wrong time, and she invites Sam to a peer group that plays board games. And, at this group, they play Battleship, and Sam gets advice from his peer, Jasper, on what to do about his quandary. And this peer group also includes Sydney, who we saw in 303 previously. So then, back at Tektropolis, Bob comes back from Jamaica and looks silly with dreads and is still oblivious about his wife. And Sam reminds Zahid of who he is and calls Gretchen a parasite, but Zahid, of course, is still in denial and even credits himself for Sam and Paige. Mm-hmm. We'll call him Sage from now on.
Yes.
So Sam follows Jasper's advice and does the right thing by, reporting the incident. And as a result, Zahid cuts him off. We are unhomied.
Unhomied.
Yeah.
And that's all. That's completely the personal loyalty versus the categorical imperative.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And so, so Casey, meanwhile, seems to be uncomfortable with Izzy around, especially with that toy sheep looming. And then Izzy walks in on Casey and Evan kissing. And, there's a lot of walk-ins.
There's a lot of walk-ins happening here, yeah.
Yeah. I think, I wonder if that originated in The Karate Kid. Because that, that seems to...
I don't remember. Is there a lot of walking in and making out?
Like when he comes in, at the dance and sees the girl kissing his opponent.
The last time I saw that movie, Ronald Reagan was the president of the United States.
Oh, boy.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's something I predicted from, seconds away when I saw it, a year or two ago.
Right.
But anyway, Casey starts slowing down in track and gets sent home. And, she loiters at the pizza place where Evan works and, thinks, nobody wants me around. Mm-hmm. And, so... She practices track at night, and Izzy confronts her on the field. And, I'm scared of confronting people the way that Izzy did. Saying things like, it sucks you're avoiding me. I'm scared of doing that, even though sometimes it's what I feel. Mm-hmm. But anyway...
Well, definitely don't do it if it's not what you feel.
Yeah. Right, of course. Sure. And, it ends with a kiss, obviously.
Right.
It ends with a cover of I Think We're Alone Now. And, the end of this and the previous one reminds me of these ads that I see for mobile games like Episode, Choices, Love Island, etc., which shows two sexy young men or two women and the option to make them kiss, etc.
Right.
Dunk her in the pool. You have these
carnival games.
You have these buttons that you can press that determine the course of the story.
Casey and Izzy are definitely pushing each other's buttons. I'll give you that.
Yes. Doug, meanwhile, goes to a Fleetwood Mac concert with Megan and the peer group, and Elsa thinks that Doug got those 2 tickets as a present.
That was so sad.
Oh, that was so sad. So heartbreaking.
How could he not read that situation?
Oh, he knew what he was doing.
You think he was punishing her?
Oh, boy.
You tag him as very passive.
He's very passive.
He might not be incredibly conscious of it, but he knew the thing to do. He was avoiding telling Elsa that, hey, I'm going to Fleetwood Mac. Mm-hmm. Right. He didn't want her to even know. But why he put him up so she'd find it, or why not? It's just he's in the Doug headspace.
Yes, exactly. And she starts breaking plates in frustration in the yard, and she wants to separate from Doug.
Yes. Yeah. That's under the tension they're in. I would say separation, because it's not like it's some band we don't care about. It's Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, exactly.
So they really love Fleetwood Mac. Okay.
All right. So are they going to separate? Let's find out. Let's see if the next episode has anything about that. It's called Road Rage Paige. Now that begins with Sam pointing out that there are 2 seasons in Antarctica, summer and winter, and the transition feels brutally fast. And it begins with a flashback of 3 years ago when Sam gets a sensory overload on his very first day at Tektropolis, and Zahid makes a quick save by flattering a customer and telling Sam, "You complete me. I'm going to train you in life." And today, as opposed to that, he gets the cold shoulder. So Sam now needs a new Zahid. And, he gets advice from a few people, including Bob, Jasper, Sydney, and Abby, who advises him about the sock on the door.
Right. Good one.
Yeah. And then he learns that Zahid switched his shift on purpose so that he wouldn't see Sam anymore.
Because of the unhomieing.
Yes, exactly. Casey, meanwhile, the scene continues where 307 left off. I mean, they kiss, then they run into Beth at the liquor store. Mm-hmm. And that night, Casey can't sleep, so she sneaks out to see Evan, and Doug catches her sneaking out and grounds her.
Uh-huh. He had an interaction like the same way I used to get caught and grounded. Which he said, he's like, "You're caught and you're grounded just for trying." She's like, "Okay." He's like, "What? Aren't you going to fight about it or not?" He's like, "No, you're right." I used to do the same thing to my parents. I'm like, "Oh no, you got me."
I never was grounded.
I was often grounded.
You were naughty.
I was a naughty boy. Yeah, mostly just curfew violations.
Yes, exactly.
Minor crimes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
So anyway, Paige offers to advise Sam in place of Zahid, in addition to driving him to the aquarium, and she shouts at every driver she sees. Yes. Hence the nickname Road Rage Paige. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can be a little bit like that in the car, just a little bit.
Yes, Paige is actually worse than you
are. I know, but what I think, I wonder,
she's younger. Yeah,
right. I think Paige has the makings of a very talented dom. Because if she's
a certain particular fetish, I think.
You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah.
Her whole... no, she does.
Yeah.
Princess Boom Truck.
Yeah, and since... she and Sam finally go all the way in this episode, I kind of wonder, if she's like that in bed. I said, give it to me.
She's gonna direct the scene a little bit, probably.
Yeah.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what she's like.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's not.
Some people are the opposite in bed that they are in real life.
That's true, because they're trying to relax.
Yeah.
Right. Well, back to Casey's story. It seems like, I think it would be super funny if, like, at the very beginning, right after the Casey-Izzy kiss, Izzy just shoved her away like WTF.
I don't know.
Because that seems a bit more plausible.
I think Izzy's feelings are sincere, but she's closeted.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Right. Like in their chemistry class, Izzy just sort of questions where they are with a note.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, Casey responds, like, don't want to be like which of course symbolizes Elsa.
Right. Got to talk to Evan. Don't want to be like Elsa.
Right. Well, in addition to talking to Evan, Casey confronts Zahid at Tektropolis, and Zahid is like, "Yeah, some things are too big to look past." Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I could draw a better witch. Yeah, but then Casey confesses to Evan about kissing Izzy, and this is a really moving scene.
Yeah,
I think Bridget Lundy-Payne should get an Emmy for their performance in this scene.
Yeah, both of them. I thought I bought Evan's reaction. Mm-hmm. because it's hard enough as it is, and then if he's going to have any nascent homophobia, that's going to bug him.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And so he breaks up with Casey and then cries about it afterward, and then so Doug then consoles Evan after that. Mm-hmm. But before that, Doug doesn't think he's really ready to separate from Elsa, and he opens up to his coworker Chuck about it, and Chuck says that like marriage is a choice you make every morning.
Yeah, I liked that one. That was good.
Yeah, you think that's true?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes it's
I don't know. It's a very
subconscious.
active choice.
Yeah, sometimes it's subconscious. but-
Sometimes it's a very specific. Okay, we're doing
Right.
this. We're staying in choice. Yeah,
Right.
It has levels of specificity, I'd say.
Right, and so Elsa in this episode meets her mom again outside the salon, and tells her mom that you ruined my 27th birthday, and
Right.
she doesn't remember why. And Elsa admits, like, I wasn't an easy kid. I was rigid, particular, and very specific, like Sam. So now we see where he might get it from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a number of factors. I was told, my grandpa has shown signs of being on the spectrum, especially, my grandma had noticed that when, my family really started talking to them about it and about me in particular. So, anyway, Elsa also guides Sam about how to handle Casey when she's upset. By giving her a secret stash of Thin Mints.
Yes.
And so that's a win for Elsa, I suppose.
And the Girl Scouts.
Yes. But Doug says, hey, let's take things slow. Let's hold off on telling the kids about our possible separation. I mean, I know this wasn't all your fault, etc.
Right.
And so now we're left at wondering where things are going to go.
Yeah.
And
What's
so
happen next?
Yes, well, what happens next is Sam takes a walk.
Yes.
And that's episode 309, and it begins with him recalling memories of Zahid over Casey's narration, where, Casey talks about her breakup with Evan. And, it seems like kind of a parallel, of course, because normally Sam does the narration. And we see a few clips from season 1, including the quote where, Zahid likes to go to Vermont to peep them leaves.
Yes.
And then we see Sam drawing a knight fighting a dragon. And I didn't get this until recently. The dragon represents Zahid.
Sure.
Yeah, and it reminds me that it's hard to get these connections unless you binge watch a lot of these. I mean,
Yeah.
normally I do like 1 or 2 episodes a day or
That's
a
what we were
night.
doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
3 or
But,
4, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so Sam gets into a political art assignment, which involves getting into your dark side. So Doug and Elsa and Casey all leave for Casey's track meet. And so Sam has his first weekend alone at home, and he doesn't want to spend it with Paige. And so he draws a bloody penguin massacre, and he gets upset when the brown sugar in his cupboard reminds him of Zahid. Oh,
Yeah.
because that's his nickname, Brown Sugar Man.
It's the Brown Sugar Man, yeah.
Yeah, and Paige, meanwhile, confronts Sam about their sex, and also tries to apply for a nanny job, and also invites Sam for a walk. So that's where Sam takes a walk.
That's Sam taking a walk, yeah.
Yeah. And so Sam also finds Zahid's shirt in his closet while dressing for his walk with Paige. And then he angrily confronts Zahid with a microphone at Tektropolis,
Yes, that was
and accidentally causes a fire with a gas stove because, he's offended that they think he doesn't know how to turn on and off a gas stove like at his own house.
Right. And when we first saw it, we were like, why would the gas be hooked up on a display stand?
Right.
Yes, and we find out that Bob has been living at Tektropolis
Exactly.
because the gas stove wasn't supposed to be connected.
Yes.
He's living there following his divorce.
Yeah. Separation.
Yes,
At
exactly.
this point, yeah.
But as a result of the sprinklers going off, his penguin art is improved. It gives it a nice watercolory texture.
Sometimes accidents are the best plan.
Yeah, exactly. And so Sam also learns that Zahid is getting married to Gretchen, and so he's got to stop it. And, that's real 80s themed, of course.
Yeah, we're starting to get into a little, heavy plotting with this, but it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Doug, meanwhile, throws an apple core out the car window despite Elsa's constant warning.
Oh my God, never do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If she says, please don't do that, no matter how trivial and harmless it is, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Doug, you've been through this before.
Yeah, seriously. So anyway, Doug and Elsa go to Grandpa's cabin over in the woods. And, she unpacks the Sam Takes a Walk board game she made. And, Doug, in anticipation, brings some wine. So, they kind of bond while playing the game. And, it looks like things are sort of looking up. Casey, although, is sad about her breakup with Evan. And she goes to the hotel with Izzy, for the track meet and everything. And Izzy is wary about going public with, this newfound sexuality. And Casey privately confides in her friend Charisse, whom we saw in previous seasons. Mm-hmm. And Charisse invites them to a hotel room party. And, at the party, Izzy is still kind of self-conscious when dancing with Casey. I mean, she doesn't want it to look like they're a couple. And then Casey spots Izzy kissing a boy. Big uh-oh.
Right. And then Casey starts dancing with somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. And so next day at the track meet, Casey wins triumphantly, but continues to ignore Izzy. So,
seems like the kind of drama I remember from high school.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, by the end of the episode, things are looking better for Doug and Elsa because they all come home and she offers to cut Doug's hair like she used to.
Oh, so sweet.
And I guess she does kind of a weird job because it gets mentioned. What's going on with your hair? Did we just she overcut it or something?
Yeah.
Overwatering and marking her man.
Yes. Indeed.
This is a control freak. All right, are we on episode 10?
Yes, we've now come to the exciting, triumphant finale, Searching for Brown Sugar Man.
We are searching for Brown Sugar Man.
Yes, and so
Dolomite
now...
is his name.
Yeah, exactly. So Sam looks for Zahid and, through the notes in his many journals instead of studying for his midterm. Now, this kind of echoes what I've been doing. I've been going back to previous episodes in order to, get names of people and, figure other things out, other details, like when do we see so-and-so? And, Abby from the Art Jam, who's a big Nancy Drew fan, offers to help.
She's going detectiving.
I love your life, she says.
I love your... Well, when he says that, he has to make up with his girlfriend so that she can drive them because he's mad at her for spying. She's like, I love your life.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. So they get to the casino. Sam goes with Paige, of course, and the canoe, and Abby... And Casey.
And Casey got the helmet on.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she's got the helmet on because of Road Rage Paige.
Right.
Yeah, just pushing buttons, stirring the pot.
And the canoe is like a symbol of shame for Paige because it's like something she bought during her spending frenzies.
She says, I don't want to talk about it, then gives a monologue.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So they all get to the casino and find Gretchen with her ex, Gavin, because she called off the wedding. Yeah, of course she'd do that. And, she also mentions, hey, Paige, good to see your legs. Because, and I didn't get this till recently, she previously only saw Paige via webcam.
Oh, sorry. So it's only chest up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
That's where the joke comes from.
I missed what that reference was.
That's what that's why it's meant to be binge watched in a row, in like a row or something. There's a lot of details you got to remember.
Yeah, looking at Gretchen and Gavin, I was like, I halfway expected them to say, actually, guys, this is a pretty good show, but we both got the callback from Mr. Robot. You're going to go beyond that show?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, she totally looks like a Mr. Robot character.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Which is Fight Club, so there you go. Yeah.
So, anyway, Casey, meanwhile, is still mad at Izzy, but, around the beginning, they make up in the hallway with a public kiss, and Casey also finds out that UCLA does indeed want her, but she has to step it up.
Right.
And so she writes pros and cons about UCLA, kind of like Sam did with Paige in the first season. Mm-hmm. And so later on, she listens to Paige pour her heart out at the casino because Paige wishes she were a succulent. You know, she wishes she were adaptive to a new environment when clipped.
Right.
And Casey opens up to about similar experiences, you know, transplanting. Mm-hmm. And, you know, take it easy on yourself. That's pretty much the takeaway.
Right.
So then Sam finds Zahid at the batting cages,
yes,
getting hit by balls like he used to do with Sam.
Taking his masochistic relief.
Yes, and so Zahid, he takes off his protective armor, and Sam takes a baseball for him.
Oh, Sam.
Yeah. I never unhomied you.
I never unhomied you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Zahid is so touched by this that, you know, he decides to get rehomied to Sam and makes it official with a ceremony
an
Elvis minister.
Yes.
And, you know, the montage is Son of a Bitch by Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats.
Very good, yeah.
And, you know, Sam also helps him with his nursing midterm. And, you know, Z uses some sexy word cues.
That's not... we're making fun of Zahid. That's not a bad studying technique.
Well, yeah.
I have actually memorized things by putting the most weirdest, disgusting thing, and it's my own private thing. You guys don't have to hear about it, but I'll remember some of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of those mnemonics. But that medical school is all about that, right? And nursing school is essentially medical school. And so it's all mnemonics and remembering, you know, using funny words because you can't remember this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by choosing friends over his ethics midterm, we got to wonder, like, did Sam pass? I mean, he might not have passed the midterm, but I guess in his own way, he sort of grew in a different way.
Well, he's behaving opposite of the absolutist ethics that he created at the beginning. Because the absolute ethics that he created at the beginning would say, I owe it to myself to pass this class. Zahid is making a personal choice. It's not my responsibility, but I did make a promise. And that's a personal loyalty.
Yeah.
The personal loyalty is trumped by the rules.
Yeah.
Right? And so...
I really love that in him, because
he went with
big with me, loyalty.
It's ethics, right? But certainly for this, I think it works.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it got me wondering, like, do friends let friends make mistakes?
Yes.
That's your ethics question for the day.
My ethics question. By and large, yes, you certainly let people make their own decisions, right? And then, if you look at this again, it's consistent with the Gardner family and everything like that. This is the Elsa gene in him.
Oh yes,
because he's protective of Zahid. I never unhomied you. I made a promise, so I have this rule that I keep my promises. But I'm also emotionally motivated to protect you.
Yes.
You know, it's not just some arbitrary promise.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's such a big thing that a marriage is not like a small mistake.
No, but that's why they have them homieing.
Right.
You know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
he agrees to it. So he agrees to it.
Yeah.
Well, they also make it easy because Gretchen leaves him.
Of course. She's clearly ethically challenged.
Oh my gosh, she's bizarre.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
There was no actual confrontation. It was just a rescue.
Yeah.
So he's a rescue animal. But I love how he took the midterm in that suit.
Oh, yeah.
In his dragon suit.
Yeah.
That's just metal as fuck.
Right, exactly. And Casey, meanwhile, confronts Evan at the pizza place and learns he actually got into the EMT program and that he's okay with her going to L.A. and tells her, hey, do the hard stuff.
Yeah.
And Izzy apologizes to her for being difficult, and Casey replies, I'm not looking for easy.
There's several times throughout this season where they talk about, you know, like when she comes back from college, Paige, and she's like, you know, this is really, you know, college is hard, is how they end that scene where they're back to back, and frequently everyone is facing their hard stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And college is hard this way.
Yeah.
You know, this is all very realistic. College is hard stuff.
Yeah, and Doug and Elsa are also facing hard stuff in this episode because Elsa allows Doug to go on a work trip with Megan. And, you know, Doug offers, hey, I can stay home. I don't have to go on this trip. But Elsa's like, hey, go on. It's okay. And so Doug gives Casey kind of a pep talk before leaving. And then gets a phone call from Megan while driving, and at
She's
the bar,
making herself up for a date.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And at the bar, Doug has drinks with Megan, and Megan says, "Hey, don't leave your wife just for me. I want this to be real."
Yeah, she was very wise.
Yes.
Wise woman.
Yes.
She's been wise and cool the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also because she's a minor character, so it's helpful.
But she's not being like... She's not a stereotypical temptress in the scene.
Yeah,
like,
this is...
No.
They paint her as very logical and ethical.
Well, I think she also wants because her daughter's on the spectrum, she wants the support of this community. She doesn't want to... She doesn't want to shit where she eats here at all. Right?
Yeah, and towards the end, during the SOB montage, Elsa is about to drive off to break up Doug's stupid affair, but Doug comes back and beats her to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they smash right into each other. Another metaphor.
Yeah. And towards the end, we see Doug taking his wedding ring out of a box where it was hidden and putting it back on. And, this reminds me that he stopped wearing it back in episode 202.
Right. It's like last season. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
it was after the affair. After he found out.
Yeah, when he got out of bed, he looked so somber. I'm like, oh my God, is he regretting this?
Mm-hmm.
No,
and instead, he went to the ring, and I went, oh, okay.
Right.
I didn't read. Until I saw the ring, I really thought something else was going on.
He might still be somber. He might be. Am I really doing this? Because he kept saying, "I'm trying to get you off my list."
But I can't.
I can't get. I wish I could quit you. It's a little Brokeback moment with her, right? Where he's like, "I'm just really into you." I mean, Doug is genuinely in love with Elsa. He's attracted to Megan or whatever else, but he's going to come back to Elsa, especially because they have a family.
Yeah.
But he also recognizes that it's probably not going to work again. It's probably going to be the same
I don't
dynamics.
know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of happy endings in this.
Yeah, especially for Paige, who sells her canoe to Sam, who used a fake Instagram account.
Oh, I missed that detail.
Yes.
Was Sam the guy?
Remember, he was taught how to do that.
They created Abby helped him create a fake Instagram account to attract Zahid, so that they could follow Zahid.
Right, I remember that, but I didn't get that was this boat purchase.
No, it was because that's why they're sitting in the boat at the
at the end they're sitting in the boat.
And,
yes, you're right.
And Paige got the nanny job, possibly for Julia.
Yes, it is Julia.
And maybe this is her power. Maybe
she says, I'm really good with babies. The baby fell right asleep. And Julia's like, wow.
She seems like somebody who would be good at babies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And at the very end, Zahid offers to be roomies with Sam.
Yep.
That was cool.
Yeah. So,
I want to see where that goes next season.
Yeah.
Again,
next season,
we have
I
seen
think...
Fight Club, have we? Oh. It'll be about that.
No.
Okay.
Penguins were the power animal in Fight Club.
That's true.
Right.
This is Fight Club. We're watching Fight Club.
Right. Well, I think that closes the book.
That closes the book. Thank you
3.
so much.
And I really, really enjoyed this season.
Yeah.
This is my favorite one so far. I felt really good.
A lot of extreme ups and extreme downs.
Well, and I liked. I was more even on the characters. I liked everybody.
And went deep. Yeah, me too.
And I liked the last
we went
season.
deep into more character stuff, which I love. Things that are character
and
driven.
they're growing up.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm with high school kids anymore. I feel like I'm with college kids.
Right.
And that's when you start to relate to them a little more as independent individuals. But I agree with you. Although I think the takeaway here, I would like if atypical people listen to this at all or whatever for next season, a range of adults on the spectrum.
Yes,
some capable ones, some ones who are messed up, whatever. Just the usual atypical round. But that it's all kids.
Yeah,
is getting a little noticeable.
It is.
Yeah. So. Especially as they're moving into adult communities.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one thing when you're in high school all the time, okay, maybe there's only a few adults around, but they're moving into college, it's going to be...
Like a college professor who's on the spectrum.
Or somebody working at Walmart.
There's going to be believe me, there's going to be plenty of mathematicians and physicists on the spectrum.
That's true.
For crimini's sake. And and fashion design students as well.
Yeah.
I know there's a correlation there.
Or even a teacher, because, I just taught a class on animation.
Oh, congratulations.
I taught a stop-motion class to kids aged 4 to 14 and showed them how to create a character and design a background, I guess, and also create a character profile and how to build characters out of wire and clay and how to make them move.
Well, really great.
And so just goes to show you there's all kinds of possibilities for Any
Well,
That's something I'd want.
you're a very talented animator.
I would. That is actually something we've talked about before. You and I doing some stop motion.
Yeah.
Well, there's an app called Stop Motion Studio, which you can get on your iPhone or iPad. A little plug there. I totally recommend it if you really want to
How about Go
experiment.
Motion? Go Motion, little robots that move during the frame. Get that motion blur going. No,
Yeah,
no
that'd be
Harryhausen. More Spielberg, less
Awesome.
Harryhausen. Yeah. Thank you so much, Guillermo. This
You're
is
welcome.
really appreciated. Thank you, Sion, for sitting in. And pay attention, everybody. NatterCast is back, and we're gonna be chatting about all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm just gonna make stuff up.
Oh, yes.
And everyone, tune in. I don't want to hold you any longer. Better Call Saul starts
Tonight and tomorrow.
And we will be casting sometime this week, probably, or next weekend, on the Saul.
Yes. One of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Odin Kirk.
Odin Kirk. Okay, anyway, guys, until next time, please tell your friends about NatterCast and everything else, because I'd like to grow our audience, and I honestly can't keep setting things on fire. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.